back to, I think, game 2 of the Tuesday morning mech block. If you didn't know it, you're in it now. This is Vengeful Guardian Moonrider. I am DanTheVP, and this is Beat the Game. It's basically any percent, but with the longer name. I've got some friends that are like the busiest people at AGDQ the first 3 days, and they decided to get up and help me out. So, you want to introduce yourselves?
Hi, my name is Bobby. I love playing games like these, and through games that DanTheVP has speedrun on previous GDQs. I've been this commentary buddy for the last couple of years, and we're not stopping that now.
And hi, I'm Quacksilver. I like indie games the normal amount, and I am relatively new to Vengeful Guardian Moonrider, but I am very excited to dive in and pick this one apart.
All right, so we're gonna jump in to the intro stage here, and then we're gonna have these 6 kind of Robot Master stages that we can choose from after it. But just to set the stage, time will start whenever we select start on this loadout. But first, you'll notice the game is in Chinese. It is faster, but it also hides the fact that I don't know the right name for anything, so that's just my secret, but you know that now. We're gonna see this loadout screen before we start each stage. We're gonna pick up some passive chips along the way. We're gonna get some abilities along the way, but time is gonna start whenever I press start, and that's gonna be in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Good luck.
All right, and luckily we start with a little video, so you all get to see the toolkit of our protagonist, the Vengeful Guardian Moonrider. He's got a dive kick, he's got some crouch slashes, a basic attack combo, and this running attack, which once I get control, we're gonna use it. Now the running attack does have a decent amount of lag after it, so it's kind of strategically used when we can't just like one-shot normal enemies. But it's really easy to accidentally use that attack as well, and that'll just be my secret along with all of the names that I don't know. But the first bit of tech we're seeing is also this one wall climb. It's just all throughout the run. It's fast. It's not too hard to do. You're just holding down and towards the wall. This is the mini boss of the stage. Every level has mini bosses. Some of them have 5. That's not an exaggeration. But this is also the midway in the stage, so we'll get full up on health and our MP, which is the yellow and blue bar on the left side of your screen, respectively. Let's see if we get this in the run. Nope. All right. I called it. Those wall climbs can be tricky, and that's probably RNG. Probably wasn't my fault. But we are gonna make it through and pick up the first chip in the game eventually. And this is the passive MP regen chip. So we have special abilities, and we're gonna be picking them up from each of the 6 Robot Masters, and that uses up our MP bar. Both the chips we use in this run are just feeding our MP, and you will understand once you see some of the boss weapons. Moonrider's got the Moon Spear, and it's okay, but like, it's just a spear. It's kind of sad that he's got the slow weapon of all of his robot friends. Maybe that's why he needs to be vengeful. But this is kind of the intro boss coming up. We're gonna try to not destroy the hand of this thing. The pixel art in this game is just crazy, by the way, in the best way possible. There we go, got the quick kill on the first boss. Moving on to the Robot Masters. I have a bad habit of mashing through these screens, but there's actually nothing I can do right here. I need to like take a minute and not destroy my controller. So the next stage we're going to is the city. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what it's called. And it starts off with an auto-scroller, which means we have a good chunk of time for some donations.
Of course. $50 from I Have One Big Eye, who donates and says, "Did you know the D in AGDQ stands for Dan? Follow me for more silly and fake factoids about my favorite runners. Good luck, nerd. Less than 3. We also have Hank Sinatra donating $50 and saying, "Happy birthday, Dan. Best of luck on the run."
Thanks, Hank.
$50 as well from Fitinsky, who says, hey, Dan, I couldn't be there in person, so I'm watching along from home. Good luck on the run. Thank you all so much for those generous donations. And as a quick reminder, coming up next after this amazing run of Vengeful Guardian Moonrider, we have Valhalla Cyberpunk bartender action. And with that, we have a music choice bid war that is currently open, and it is a tight race. Right now, Everything Will Be Okay is the music in the lead. We have some amazing songs to choose from as well, like You Will Remember Me, March of the White Knights, Go, Go, Streaming Chan, All Systems Go, and where do I go from here? So if you want to choose what the music choice is going to be, ! Donate, click the link, scroll to the bottom of this page, and put your donations towards that specific incentive.
You got plenty of time.
Oh, don't worry, I got plenty of things to talk about. In addition, we have a fantastic incentive that we have been grooving and schmooving on. That is the bonus any percent run. I wanted to give you an update on that. We are 28% of the way there already. We need to hit $8,000, and we have about $5,800 to go. What that is Bramhall the 5th, the runner, will be completing a glitched any percent run of Yee's 8 Lacrimosa of Dana after the main run. And when you hear a glitched run as a bonus run, you know there is going to be some awesome speedrunning shenanigans ready and waiting for you. So make sure if you want to see that bonus 80% run, put your donations towards that as well. Speaking of donations, we have $50 from Corduroy, and I believe Corduroy speaks for everyone when I say, good morning, AGDQ. Good morning, Corduroy. Happy to see you today. We also have a wonderful heartfelt donation of $100 from Norzo, who says, greetings, AGDQ. I set an alarm to get up for the Shenmue run, and it's one of my favorite games as an old Dreamcast nerd, but something got in the way. The birth of my son. I don't know anyone personally, but this community has been dear to my heart for years, so I want to share a personal moment with all of you. Henri, I will always love you and be there for you. And AGDQ, keep being awesome, niche, inclusive, and fighting for a good cause. Love from Germany. Thank you, Norzor, and congrats on the birth of your son. That is fantastic to hear. As a reminder, I noticed we also have $25 from Kaiju Jack. Good luck, Dan. The rat's nest is cheering you on.
Rat Jam. So this is like the government-mandated train game, or train level in this game, because it's going to follow every retro game trope. I'm going to try not to, well, that's one. There we go.
Yeah, as you can see, like these cars, like kind of like weave in and out. Like they're really like small platforms, and if you really want to make like most of your time through it, like you want to get through it without any sort of like hindrances through like enemies that might be coming at you from above. But if done correctly, it'll be a nearly perfect cycle where you'll be able to make jumps on every one of those platforms that you need to.
They also move faster on higher frames. We're playing at 75, which is kind of my sweet spot, but it does make those cycles kind of different and harder to time. And that's the whole run. Everything in the game is going to just move quicker, which this is a speed run, so going fast, I approve.
Yeah, Dan was actually telling me a little bit earlier last night that like if you go a bit too higher in the FPS, yeah, these sort of like stage geometry and like interactables will like activate faster. So like if you're trying to get through a door, for example, like it will close faster on higher refresh rates and FPSs. So yeah, 75 is like the sweet spot where you'll be able to still take advantage of how fast the game can run, as well as be able to skip a lot of really great things along the way.
But so this is the Photon Dasher, and that was the Photon Dasher, our first boss of the game. Because you can do the sort of Robot Master stages in any order, they are routed in this run to get all of our important kit online as fast as possible. Dan got the first MP regen chip that he needs, and we're getting our first ability, the Photon Dash, which it turns out, in addition to solving your movement in this game, does a ton of damage because you can double strike with the hitbox if you start the dash right next to an enemy. So it's going to be Dan's major source of DPS for basically the rest of the run outside of 1 or 2 quick kills later in the game.
Yeah, the general gist for like most of the bosses is just like leading them into a corner and then using like your outline as a hitbox of the Photon Dash to like just do multiple instances of damage really quickly. And I love this stage music right here.
Yeah.
Can I get a shout out to Dominic Nidmark, who's done a lot of great work in sound composition in games such as this, Gravity Circuit, Blazing Chrome, a lot of the games that you've seen on this this GDQ iteration is, at the very least. So if you love the retro tunes, please pick up this game. Please pick up the soundtrack. It is absolutely amazing, incredibly thumping.
I lost MP there for a second. I'm short. All right. We're winging it, literally.
You got this.
Now, the important thing is to have enough to skip a mini boss coming up, which you will never see, hopefully. Yeah.
Nice.
That's where my mini boss would be if I had one.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning that we're playing on an earlier patch of the game because the developers obviously want us to fight that mini boss and all that stuff in casual instances. But for the speed run, we definitely want to go fast and not even see that guy at all.
Yeah. Speaking of the devs, this game launched with a debug tool and save states. And if you've ever wanted to run an indie game and you have save states built in, you know how amazing it is. Alrighty, got a good cycle on that.
Stuff.
Nice.
Got a little elevator action here. We had our train level. There's going to be plenty of elevator levels. Again, pretty sure they're required when you're making a new retro-inspired game. I don't know what the licensing agency is for making these games, but you know, Dominic needs to do the next Streets of Rage soundtrack. I'm putting that into existence right now.
Be super hype.
Because I'm thinking of the Streets of Rage and the elevator music in that game.
It's collab with T-Lobe stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be the greatest indie soundtrack of all time.
You heard it here. Totally can make that announcement. So coming up, we've got another mini boss, yes, and we're really going to showcase the Photon Dash. Hopefully, this can be a little tricky, but if the boss just falls over and dies, you know I did well. There we go.
Nice.
Incredibly useful for bosses with really big hitboxes like that.
Oh, yeah. And that's the benefit of the dash. Does a lot of damage. It's fast. And the iframes last longer than the animation. So as long as you have MP, you can just spam it and not get knocked out or take any damage. So that is the second and last chip we're getting. It is the Soul Eater, I think. I'm going with Soul Eater. So now we get passive MP regen and we get MP regen every time we kill an enemy. We're fully loaded now. We can dash as much as we want. But we are in another little, I think, to me this is like Battletoads. Was there a platform like this in a Battletoads game? What am I thinking of?
I hate to be the one to break this to you, but I'm pretty sure Battletoads came out before I was born.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry.
You know, with that, I think we've got time for some donations.
I don't know if I want to say anything after that comment from
I'm so sorry.
my old bones.
Feel old yet?
Excuse me while I'm reconstructing myself after I've turned to dust here. $10 from Brad Brains. Shout outs to the best mod on Twitch, DanTheVP, Who needs to work when there are speed runs going on? Smiley face. Much. Oh, I still feel that in my bones. $20 from Polo. Hey, Dan. It's a pleasure to see you representing the Moonrider community on the big stage. This game means a lot to many of us, and it's such a treat to see it at GDQ. Good luck and ride that moon.
Totally. What is it with me and moon games, Bobby? I'm just now realizing this about myself.
Well, so you played Curse of the Moon previously, and that's pretty much it. You are cursed to play moon games until the end of time.
All right, another boss. There's a wall in this stage, and so we're gonna try to get the boss there. There's a little manip that is kind of hard, and she's actually our friend. We've got friends that like fight us in this game. Nope, didn't get it. Oh well.
That photon
So-
still makes extreme work.
I almost forget this about the game. The bosses all have two phases. They have a yellow life bar and a red life bar, but they're all kind of routed to give us a chance to burn through all their health before they get out of like an attack animation, so they can't actually transition. If they do transition, they're like invulnerable for like an amount of time. So it's not just like burning through one health bar, there is some strategy behind it. Coming up is a level that exists. That's what I'm gonna say.
I believe this is the Lost Ruins. I think we looked it up in the practice room. But this is one of the tightest movement sections in the game. And something that we haven't mentioned is that if you hold down off of dive kicking off of an enemy, very clean, you get a height boost, which Dan is using to skip going around that long room there. That was super smoothly executed.
It's the most unintuitive thing about this game that you hold down to go higher.
Oh, that's so
Nice.
that staircase is so tricky.
Oh man, those are the least friendly enemies in the game, and we're not gonna see them anymore, thankfully. Coming up on another mini boss, which if I get close enough, we can destroy 2 of the weak spots in one go. There we go, we got them both. And this mini boss is gonna make a mistake. It's gonna retreat to the wall. He hasn't seen the previous bosses. So we do have a sequence break coming up that's been like the most recent speedrun skip that's been found. We're gonna use this dive kick boost, and this is a long maze section with like doors and stuff. But there's a back entrance meant to let you come back if you like missed a secret. But since we've got this enemy, he just walks over here a little bit and boop, now we're done.
Nice.
Nice.
That is a painful section with those enemies I don't want to fight, and it's like underwater and stuff, but we're just gonna head off to the boss. Now this boss does force us into 2 phases because she has a shield with her, and we've got to break the shield before we can actually damage her. I'm gonna try to get through it quickly. It's another big benefit to playing at a higher FPS is this game does tend to eat your inputs, and I think it's kind of on purpose because it is that kind of like retro feel of just like, you just can't mash. You have to be purposeful, but the higher frames eat less of your inputs. All right, we got the quick kill set up. Just need to hit her a couple of times and, oh, she almost summoned, she summons a big hand, but she dies too quickly.
All right, boss down.
Yeah. We get the Dark Portal here, which this was one of the original speedrun abilities we used quite a bit. I think in an earlier version of this game, it did even more damage.
Did a lot of damage.
Yeah. There's a double jump in the game too, but it's a chip that you have to get. And that was like, my PB for the longest time was Dark Portal double jump. But the dash and the next ability we get from the Laser Research Base, yes, that is the actual title of the level.
We did it, we found one.
I know it. If I die in a stage, it's gonna be this one or the last stage. So we're gonna see what happens. And the screen is gonna start flashing a little more the further we get in because there's a weapon wheel where you can swap between all the boss abilities, but I just like hold left and tap it to go like one at a time, so I never pause the game to select a weapon. And so there will be some flashing for the rest of the run.
Photon Dash is like the name of the game, especially for this stage. Whereas like this stage will be like really resource intensive on your MP. That's why we grabbed the chip a little bit earlier, where every enemy that we fell increases our our current MP that's available to us.
Yeah.
So we'll probably go out of the way to dispose of some enemies. But I mean, honestly, they're right in front of us, so it's their fault.
Yeah.
but the goal is to stay topped up on MP just so we can retain our invincibility throughout the stage. And it helps even more that any sort of pickups that we get, it's not like Mega Man where the game actually stops. Like we just instantly pick them up and they're added to our resources.
This is another friend, by the way, that attacks us.
Why must we fight our friends?
To be fair, they don't put up much of a fight.
No. We're gonna see him again. Hopefully we get to him quick enough that he doesn't learn any new tricks. All right, this is a pretty tough section, I say. Maybe. All right.
Nice, got the sidewall jump there.
That dive kick boost into wall jump is not, it's not easy. All right, we're coming up on mini boss number 5 for this level. For the longest time, we didn't know that elevator was semi-solid. So when you think you know everything about a game, just try to press down.
And there, going into the mini-boss, you also saw, in addition to solving movement, solving combat, Photon Dash just has so many iframes on it. Dan just walked through sets of lasers and hazard floors as well. It truly does a lot of the speed run.
I forgot to set up the dark portal. There we go. So the one time we used the dark portal and I didn't even do it justice. All right. So we've got a kind of long section where I'm gonna try not to die to a laser. So if we've got 2 or 3 donations, we've got time for them.
Of course, $50 from Prez Kane. Hi, Dan. Always a treat to see your runs at GDQ. Good luck on your run and happy birthday, according to Hank.
It was Sunday, so don't feel bad. It's not actually today.
Well, happy belated birthday then. We have $10 from Nicholas. I'm glad that this event is happening again. I actually had to fight a whole hard year against cancer as well, and now I'm free for 5 years. Wish everyone the best, and thank you for entertaining a lot of people. Thank you, Nicholas, and we're glad to see you here.
We got one more section.
Is that laser an instant kill?
No. You want to see? Is it? No, it just does a lot of damage.
Ow.
All right, so we're coming up to another boss who has, he's gonna make the mistake of having walls. He kind of destroys his ceiling, but he leaves the wall intact, so I think I know what I'm gonna do here.
It really is the one-stop shop for boss technology.
That one's easier to mess up because if he's not in the air when you hit him, he will force transition. But so now we're gonna all watch this movie and see Moonrider do the geo crash 7 times. And remember this, because we actually do have a glitch in this game. I'd say please no patch, but we play on a down-patched version anyway, so if you want to fix it, that's fine.
And we downpatch for this glitch specifically, correct?
No, not for the float crash is still in the game, as far as I know. But we're coming up to the Fallen something.
Fallen City.
Yeah.
Could have fooled me.
It is fire on my splits, because it's, yeah. So 2 really fun things about this stage. First, we're gonna see what we call the float crash glitch. You'll know when that happens. And then we're gonna do some fun platforming off screen. But geocrash is good for killing these pillars in one shot, which is why we use it. We come to this stage after we get geocrash. But we got this mini boss following us, another mini boss. We're gonna use the geocrash. And then we're just gonna kick after we use it, and we just kind of do this. And the hitbox is still active, so it kills this guy pretty quickly. He should be dead now. Yeah.
Nice.
Not actually dead. We're not gonna see him again. We're supposed to fight that robot one more time, but at the end of this gauntlet, I will need a little bit of quiet time because, okay. Because I'm going to avoid triggering the mini boss, and there's a big vertical climb that's supposed to be like a Metroid escape sequence, and I'm gonna do it all off screen just by audio cues, so that'll be fun.
You got this, Dan. It's your birthday.
Yeah, close enough.
But yeah, it's actually a really lengthy corridor that he's going to be trying to navigate out of bounds with.
Here we go. First try.
Nice.
Let's go. All right, we're good. We can end the run, right? We can stop writing. Oh my goodness, I didn't know that whenever I got this accepted. So that's been like the big thing that I wanted to make sure we got to show off. Another boss, another wall. We're probably not gonna get the quick kill on this guy. Or
Anyways.
Unless
or we
you
do.
did.
Okay. That is actually a difficult one to get because you can't go all the way to the wall, so you have to stop holding right and get another dash off while you're inside the boss's hitbox. We've got 3 stages left. The next stage is
The desalination facility,
Yeah.
but speedrunners call it by a different name.
I call it the salt factory because you want to do it last, and it's going to kill your runs because there's a lot of water, and because this is apparently a Mega Man game, it's Mega Man water, so it is slow. But we have the full toolkit now. We're not using half of the boss weapons either, but we've got dashing, we've got the geocrash, which gives us the glitch. We've got slow water. I've got to fill up here so we can. We're gonna skip like a forced fight room by just dashing past the door. Hopefully, well, there we go. That wasn't it, but. And then we're gonna try to do the float crash glitch again. There was the door.
Woo, there we go.
Nice.
That is like impossible after like 85 FPS. That's one of the big skips you just can't do because the game's too fast. But we're gonna set up the float crash again here and just sit in this boss's brain jar.
Yeah, you do run out of invincibility after a short while, but with proper positioning, you should be able to get more damage off that with the active hitbox of the crash.
So I kind of completely forgot that there's a skip in this section of the game because it's just so normal to do now. But we're supposed to be turning these red platforms, or turning the water on and off to raise and lower these red platforms. And the red platforms are supposed to gate you, but it keeps us in the water, which we've established is slow. But if we just hit this lever and jump off that guy, we can just completely skip it.
Nice.
This is not intended. There should be water and enemies all throughout all of this, but this is faster. We do have to go back in the water, unfortunately, but It's nice to get a little break.
Ooh.
Yeah, every little mistake is so hardly punished in this game. Another mini boss, if you couldn't tell. We're just gonna hit her in the head a couple times. There we go. All right, we got a little more slow water platforming. So if we can get in 2 donations.
I got you covered. James donated $50. There's no better way to start a Tuesday morning than with another awesome run by Dan. Congrats on all the great GDQ runs over the years. I wanted to remind people that after this run, we have Valhalla Cyberpunk Bartender action, and we still have that bid war for the music choice. Will You Remember Me has taken the lead, and Everything Will Be Okay is in second place. Very close race going on. Make sure if you want to choose what the music's going to be, exclamation point, donate, and put your donation towards the incentive of your choice.
All right, another boss. Unfortunately, not a good wall to position him on, so we're gonna have to do like back and forth dashing, which this is kind of difficult because you move kind of really sporadically, but there we go. So that's the last Robot Master. We get another ability we're not gonna use during the rest of the run. We've got, all right, what comes after the Robot Masters? Mega Man fans?
Wily?
Yeah.
Is
The
this a trick
Wily
question?
stages. No, not. I mean, they're not actually Wily stages, but when you go to a new part of the map and you like climb a tower, it's Mega Man.
Yeah, they're just the penultimate stages to the final, encounter at the end.
You know what I forgot to mention about this game?
What did you forget to mention at the end?
You just run. There's a run button. That's kind of like really like basic and important, but
Like you can walk in this game?
yeah. Oh yes, you could walk. There's a walk button. We've got another motorcycle section here to get to Wily. This one, unlike the first one, is pretty active because there are sections of this tunnel. They will change colors, so you'll kind of know as we're progressing through, but it's really important to not miss shots like I just missed there, because before those trucks die or the next mini boss we'll see, that kind of gates your progression through functionally an auto scroller. Also, the end of this tunnel section, it's going to end with a boss fight on a motorcycle. It's actually the final boss who comes to just like check us out for a little bit. And it's important that we have the right amount of resources when we get to that boss, so we don't have to spend very much time shooting at him. There's going to be another elevator. I told you the first elevator was just that was just a tease. That is the real elevator, and that boss at the end of the elevator is one of the real reasons why the float crash is a big part of this run now. It's really easy to set up, so the other float crashes so far have been kind of mediocre, I'll be honest with myself. But this one, we'll get it set up well. You'll be able to see that. But this is functionally an auto-scroller, and the run is almost over, surprisingly enough. So I'm just going to throw it back over to the host to fill us in on some incentives, get some donations going before we get to that last stage.
We still got plenty of love coming in for you. $25 from Cartridge Blowers. Every single Dan run is an absolute joy to watch. Probably because he consistently runs the coolest games. Happy birthday, Dan. In honor of Dan, put this towards Dandy and Randy because Borpy and Dorpy can't hang. And we do have that game bid war, and Dumpy and Bumpy, which is not DX, is currently beating out Dandy and Randy, which is the DX. So if you want to flip-flop that, you know where to put your donations towards.
I have it from the developer himself that he wants Dumpy and Bumpy, so just Programmancer, shout out to another wonderful indie dev.
You heard it here, folks. You know where to put it then. We also have $10 from the Asp00. Happy belated birthday, Dan the VP. If you're here though, where's the mod check? Dun, dun, dun. Thank you for those donations towards PCF.
All right, so this is like the final boss functionally, but I'm gonna kind of get him off of his motorcycle so we can actually fight him. And that should be it. All right.
Nice.
Moving on to the elevator section. Some people might see this elevator and be like, man, that sucks it's at the end of the run because it is just kind of slow and there's nothing you can do. I love it. This is my favorite thing in a speed run, is having time to like breathe or like have a drink of water or hear some more donations from our lovely host.
Of course. So we have an anonymous robot giving $50, and I think they like the same area that you do, because I just see a less than 3. $25 from Rachel Benavides, here to support everyone who is fighting. Agreed. And remember, every single one of those donations goes straight towards Prevent Cancer Foundation and beating cancer right from the get-go. Speaking of PCF, $100 from Ryan Williams. PCF is such an amazing organization. Cancer is a terrible disease. Get your screenings. Donation towards Ease 8 bonus any % run incentive. Thank you for that donation and that awesome reminder that we're about a third of the way there to get that bonus any % run. As a reminder, Bram Hall V will be running that any % bonus run after the regular run currently scheduled of all story bosses. But we need to hit $8,000 before we get to the end of that run. So chat, I want to see that happen. Any % glitched runs are always super fun to watch. So again, put your donations towards that incentive. Those donations go towards Prevent Cancer Foundation. And of course, you also get put in the running for some really heckin' cool prizes. So you want to see those exclamation point prizes in chat, and you will see some super cool things that you are eligible for.
All right, so we're gonna set up the float crash one more time right here. We're gonna have like a ring of heads or something, but we're floating and have a giant like spear, so I don't know how long they're gonna last. I cannot tell you how not fun this boss is without the float crash. Yeah. Because, I mean, there are other strats with like the dash and stuff, but nothing that fast. All right, final stage. It's gonna be hopefully quick. This is the other stage I hopefully won't die in, because it is just, it's very hectic, and when things just go off the rail, they just kind of fly off the rail. But we're gonna have 2 bosses at the end. One of our friends gonna come back and fight us again. And then the last boss is thankfully kind of a pushover, but yeah, I'm gonna try to do this and not talk and mess myself up.
So for the final time here, you see the Photon Dash iframes here in the laser gauntlets. There is just, the iframes last for, I think, over a second after in some cases. So a lot of this is just very tight cycle timing. You have a lot of affordances in your movement, but still you have to manage all of these lasers in the final gauntlet.
Yeah, and that goes back to, you know, like having this sort of like chip loadout that we needed to begin with. Like, not only can you like do the pickups along the way, but like disposing of any enemy will get you that gradual MP increase. All
right, back to our friend. I think we made it here quick enough, though. He probably hasn't learned anything new. No, he didn't learn anything, no. All right, final boss coming up. The time is gonna stop when the screen flashes white. I will call for it. We are gonna use Geocrash, though. We've dashed enough. I think it's not really fair to use dash against the final boss. We'll try to give him a fair shot.
Like, a lot of Mega Man X-Zero fans will really like the Geo Crash and how it looks, like similar to the Rikohan from the BSX games.
Ooh, good RNG. Let's go. All right, he's got one more phase. I think I'm just gonna punch him in the head. All right, time's coming up. Time. 30, oh, I almost at the 37, all right. I will take the 38 on the stage for my AGDQ debut. We're gonna let this roll, let the credits scroll. If you can speak Chinese, you know what's happening right now. This was a whole lot of fun. Huge shout out to my wife at home, Jess. I love you. And James, my brother who donated earlier. I appreciate all the support. Huge shout out to Joy Masher. This is an amazing game. Thank you so much for giving us save states. I can't, like, it's crazy to be able to practice this game and we've optimized it so much over the course of 2 years. Shout out to the arcade crew for publishing it and Asteristics for also supporting the development of this game. Everybody in the Speedrun Discord, Satibu, Kirthar who ran this at ESA, Polo, Verts, everybody who's helped out route this game, run this game. If it looks fun, please ask me questions. You know, come see me in the practice room. We'd love to have you. You got any last words, final thoughts?
Nah, it was a damn good run.
Speedrun indie games.
Yes, I appreciate both Bobby and Quack for learning this game with me. And with that, we've got a lot more money to raise for a great cause. So back to you.
Of course, and thank you again, DanTheVP, for that. Let's give some love for DanTheVP, and fantastic job there. But I'd love to stick around for a little bit longer, and happy belated birthday, of course. I'd love to stick around a little bit longer, but unfortunately, it is sleep percent for me.